What's happening, man? So, is it harder to make it in the game as a rapper than, let's say, in the early 2000s or even late 90s? In the early 2000s and late 90s, you would have to essentially make it in your area in order to reach a larger audience. You would have to make it in your area to then go on to reach a larger audience. However, in these times, we find ourselves in a slightly different predicament. So, in these days and times, it's very much about your online presence. It's still about your local presence, but it's also about your online presence as well. So, is it easier? Is it harder? Is it just different? In my opinion, it's probably in some ways easier and probably in some ways harder. The reason I say it's easier is because you have now access to a larger audience. Your potential audience is a lot bigger now than it used to be in the past. So in that sense, you just got access to more numbers. With social media, there's almost an unlimited amount of people that can reach your music. Whereas before, it would be more of a local it would be more of a local captive audience that had access to your music. So in that sense, it's a lot easier to reach a larger audience nowadays. But on the other hand, because you now have access to a larger audience, that market is very saturated. In other words, because you over in Alabama have access to the online market, so and so from London also has access to that market. So there's a larger potential audience, but more people are fighting for it, and you're competing against more people. So, in that sense, that's why it's harder. In my opinion, your best bet is to focus on a strong marketing strategy which clearly demonstrates your target audience, but also not to have music as the be all and end all. Most rappers who are big in the game have endorsements, have sponsorships, and music isn't the be all and end all because they know that music itself, has a short shelf life, particularly in these days and times. So, in my opinion, it can be easier if you make it easy on yourself, and it can be harder if you make it hard on yourself. I would definitely still put some focus towards a local following, because ultimately I still think that the biggest way that you can generate sales for your music, unless you're a star, is through your shows. I think that YouTube is little money in comparison. I think that even sponsorships at times is little money in comparison. But if you're getting 200 people, even as a small time rapper, 200 people into a venue, and you're charging, let's say, I don't know, $100, you're looking at what's 200 times 100. That's $200,000 for a show, before obviously your deductions. So I believe that ultimately packing out arenas should be the priority of any artist, particularly if you're not a star and you don't have multi-million deal endorsements. But yeah, in some ways it's easier because you have access to a larger audience, but in some ways it's harder because the market is more competitive. You're competing against more people, and the attention span of the current market is smaller because there's simply more choice. When you've got more choice, your attention span between any given option tends to decrease. So, let me know what you think. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, hit the notification bell so you get a notification when I make a new video. If you appreciate my work and want to leave a donation, there's a link for that in the description. And with that, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next one.